Hey, good afternoon, Alliance family. I'm so excited to be with you here today. My name is Diane Lampe, and I want to talk to you today about, I think, one of the most important things you could do to really build your business and build it big. So I want to share my screen with you and we're going to get started. I've got some special guests that I'm going to be bringing on here as well. So let's go. Because today we are going to be talking about desire, the starting point of all achievement. And honestly, it's the first step toward riches. I've studied Napoleon Hill for many, many years and his philosophies and his teachings. And one of the things he really makes a strong point about is what I'm going to be talking about here. And I have some great special guests that are going to come on and share with you what's going on with them and what their burning desire, how they manifest it. And so it's that definite desire, that dominating obsession. It's you being that contrarian. I know I've talked about this before. And what that means is everyone out there is zigging. They're just going to be ending up in the same place as the rest of the world. But there's others that zag. So what do I mean by that? You need to zag when everyone else is zigging. And that's where everything will start, and you can achieve what people are going to look like when we get out of all this is like, how did all that happen? These guys are going to share with you today how they're planting those seeds, how they're making it happen, because they made a decision to be a contrarian. And a contrarian really does things different than people around them. And I want to really talk about that today. This is an important quality. And how do you do that? How do you be money conscious? And here's something that I think is really important. And I know you're going to look at me and say, well, it's not all about the money, but because we're making a big difference in other people's lives. That's for sure. But you've got to learn to, when you have that desire, to program yourself to see, hear, and feel and believe you're already in possession of it. And if you've heard me talk before, you know I talk about seeing the end in mind all the time. Almost like when things happen, it's almost like, oh, I've lived it in my mind so many times that I believe it to be real. So when it happens, it's like almost like deja vu. I've been here before. That's the same thing with people that are superstars, they're Olympians, and all those other type of people, because they're always seeing the end in mind. So if you look at my second point here, and hopefully that you're on right now and can see it and not on the phone, this is like probably the most important thing I could say to you today. If you never see great riches in your imagination, you'll never see it in your bank balance. Ooh, ouch. That's crazy, right? But I can tell you, until you get to that point, that's where it's going to be, things are going to get in your way and you're going to stop. And dreamers and people that have that burning obsession, they just don't quit. They keep going anyway. So why do they keep going? Because they've already seen the end in mind. And then they create that burning desire, that obsession. They become relentless. And I love when people tell me like, oh my gosh, Diane, you have such a one-track mind. When people tell me that, I know I'm on the right track. I'm like, oh, thank you. And everybody else is looking at me like I'm crazy, except for some people that are on here today. And of course, Andy Albright, because he's just like that. See, when I have stuff coming at me from all different ways, I'm able to just brush it off. Why? I mean, it's not like I don't care about it, but I have that burning desire with that end in mind, and I just see that. Because you're going to have obstacles. You're going to have things that are going to get in your way. You're going to have the naysayers. You're going to have all those things go on in your life. But when you got that burn, you're going to push through it. I've got here the one quality that everyone must possess to win. It's the definiteness of purpose and the knowledge of what one wants and a burning desire to possess it. Now, it's knowing what you want. And that's what I love Andy's coin. What do I want? How do I get it? What do I want? How do I get it? And then when you couple it with that desire, that deep burn inside of you, nothing's impossible. Everything is possible. And when I never look at failure as failure, I'm saying either I win or I learn. And I'm going to figure out what I can do to make that better. Why did that happen? What did I say? What did I not say? What do I need to learn? What do I need to become better at? See, when you have that burning desire, you're going to thirst for that. You're going to have a thirst to get better, and you're going to seek that knowledge, and you're going to go out there and look for it, because every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. You say, well, that sounds kind of strange. Yeah, but I can go back to every time I have not done something right. And, and the word is fail. I failed. Okay. So I just had to reprogram it, figure it out, and okay, I'm going to do it this way. I'm just going to make it happen. That's what I'm hoping that today you'll grasp from what I'm talking about and what the others, the guests, I got some great special guests on here that are examples, prime examples of that burning desire, that desire to win, the desire to make things happen. When other people say, when people say it's too tough for them, I say it's just right for me. And I bet you that I know that these guys will say the same thing. So we want you to come and join us, because we know this is such a special time that you can have anything you want, anything you want. Well, here's what I said a little bit earlier. Practical dreamers do not quit. And that burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. But what's even more important, I was writing these notes down, and I said, what are the most important points I can get across to people to get that burn inside of them, to get that desire, so that they're relentless, that they're just going to keep going. And they're, I every day, it's like I am fired up when I get up in the morning, and when I get done at night, whatever time that is because people that have a burning desire do whatever it takes. They don't look and say, oh, it's 5:01. I'm stopping today. No, they don't even look at a clock. Do you think Andy does? Andy does that? No, he just keeps going and does whatever it takes. And I know the leaders, and I know you guys will do that too. When you have that burning desire inside of you, that's what happens. And it's the turning point in the lives of those who succeed, usually comes in the moment of some crisis, through which they are introduced to their other selves. Bam. Bam. That's how that happens. I think if you go back to history and you go back to people that win big, before that, they had something that, sometimes they say, sometimes you got to hit bottom to go to the top, right? That's what happens. Sometimes that happens. It's like, boom. That's when we're introduced to our other selves. How bad do you want it? How hungry are you? Is it just a dream, a wish? What are you going to do to make that happen for you? That's what this is about. It's that burn. It's that burn. Here's another point. No one is ever defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. Ouch. Right? You're the one that makes the decision. We make our own decisions. We look in the mirror, right? But here's what I know. No more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity than is required to accept misery and poverty. Now, I don't know where I got this, but I know a long time ago, I used to say this silly poem. I like doing poems and stuff like that. And I remember I had this little mantra I used to say to myself, and I still do now. It's aim high, reach for the sky, aim low, nowhere to go. That's what I say to myself. See, because if you aim too low, how do you know how high you can go, right? That's how big things happen. It's the law of the lid, right? If you ever read John Maxwell's books, he talks about the law of the lid. And the only limitations we have are those that we set up in our own minds. If you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're going to be right. That's how that works. So I would trick myself all the time by saying that mantra to myself. And you guys might think I'm silly, but maybe some of you might want to maybe try that, because it's kind of fun, because it keeps you from dreaming too low. See, a lot of times people don't dream too big because they're afraid they're not going to get it. And so they lower and lower. And then how did they know they couldn't have gone here? But if they would have aimed maybe here, they could have gone there. But if they only aim here, they might go there, right? It's what you get what you expect. That's how that works. You get what you expect. So financial freedom and financial independence is freedom. And you say, well, Diane, it's not all about money. It's what you can do with the money. And when you have that burn inside of you, that burning desire, you can make anything happen. And the other day I can remember, I'm going to stop my share now so I can see you guys. Hi. So I wanted to share those slides with you because I felt like it made such a difference for me. And I know I was listening and watching, actually, Paul Menachino's video that was just online. I was on one of the apps that I was looking at. I watched it this morning, and it made me think of him, of a man that has a burning desire. Him and Sam, I love both of them. He's out there doing the do. He's being relentless. He's being obsessed. So I really wanted him to share with you what goes through his mind to keep going when other people may not, and keep raising his numbers and keep achieving great things. So Paul, are you there? I would love to have you share.
Yep, I'm here.
Hey.
How's it going?
Your video, by the way.
Thank you. They put that together so great, and I'm just so grateful that they did that, and thank you for asking me to be on the call. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here taking notes while you're talking. I'm like, burning desire, right? Like, and that's really what it's all about. Like, and that's, if you can figure out, like you started talking about, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And then how do you get it, right? And so when Andy came out with this corn, Diane, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, what do I really want? Like, because I've been in this business for a while, I've been doing okay. I've been out there, I've been fighting. I would say I'm a grinder, right? Like, I'm still after it all the time, but I know that there's more in me than what I've been putting on the table, right? And I know it, like, I've always known. I'm like, Paul, what if you actually went all out? Like, what would happen? And I started thinking, well, what do you want? Like, what is it inside of you that you want different? And I'm thinking to myself, I got these little girls. I got a 9-year-old. I got a 4-year-old. They're little now, but dang, I started and she was a baby. Like, that's 9 years just gone like that, And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't have the cars paid for yet when they turn 16. I'd like to have that. I'd like to just have, like, I'm thinking, like, I should just have buckets of money sitting aside for these things, right? I'm thinking, why not just go ahead and do it right now? Like I'd like to have the money for the cars, the money for the college, the money for the weddings, right? Like, who's going to do it if I don't do it? And I feel like we talk about these burning desires, and me as a young person, like, coming into this business, I was figuring out, like, I was trying to figure everything out. Like, how do I be a better dad? How do I be a better spouse? And I'm still learning that, right? But, like, let me just get this one check mark off the list, because I know that I've written out goals before. And I've looked at my goals and I've gone back and they've been all checked off, right? Like, all the different things I've gotten to do with the Alliance. I'm thinking, my burning desire, it doesn't have to be this lifelong goal of something you want to achieve forever from now. It can be something, you know, you can do in the next 60 to 90 days. And so when I started thinking of that, I'm like, because I'm yelling at Justin Balick, I'm yelling at Paul Van Thorp, I'm yelling at everyone that would listen to me. I'm calling people at 7 in the morning, like, here's what we're going to do. And they're like, well, how long do we have to do it for? I was like, as long as it takes. And then in my mind, I'm like, well, wait. I already convinced myself in 90 days. So why don't I just say, let's do it for 90 days. And then at the end of the 90 days, let's see how we feel, right? Let's see how it goes. And I think this, Diane, I like $10,000 a week paychecks. I can't tell you, like, it has been freaking awesome. Like when I upped my production, like, oh my gosh, like I'm like, the money that's coming in right now, like we're doing $5,000 to $10,000 a week in personal sales income and $5,000 to $10,000 a week in overrides. And I'm like, dang, I don't want to go back. Like I like this a lot. Like it feels good to just have that money coming in and be able to put it in little buckets and be able to take a little bit and set it aside. Like, you know, just like, and I say a little bit, like thousands at a time. Like, you know, like that used to be what I made in a month. Like, you know, that like a few thousand, like, you know, but like to be able to do that, it's not only just impacted me, but I see the change in my team, right? And so I think about it and like to sit here and say like every day is peaches and cream, like, and every day you just wake up wanting to run through a brick wall, like that would be a lie, right? Like, cause like not every day is like that. But if you can get back out, like, what do you want? And then what do you got to do to get it? And you keep going back to that and you keep getting on the training calls and listening to the other people that are successful. It's like you're just being refreshed over and over again, right? And I did this and I made a commitment to my daughters. Like I told them, I was like $40,000 a month, 3 months in a row. Like this will be the second month I'm going to issue pay over 40,000 personal production. And then third month in a row, I was like, we'll go to Disney. And I'm thinking, well, Disney should be empty-ish right about now. Like, you know, like it'll probably be a good time to go and let us start going. But like I made that commitment to them, right? So I've made that commitment. I've said it out loud to a bunch of different people. And I just keep reminding myself, like, the only reason I'm not going to hit it is it's going to be my fault, right? Like, if I don't do it, it's going to be because I didn't put forth the effort to do it, right? So I keep thinking back to that, going like, what do I got to do to get to the next level? And then at the same time, I've got other guys on my team that are doing the same thing. So I love what you're talking about. Like the burning desire is just like, it doesn't always, and I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong on this, Diane. It doesn't have to be a forever thing. It just has to be a commitment that you feel like you can do. Like you said it a minute ago, like if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. So like, why not go ahead and make a commitment, make it achievable, do it, and then do it again and again and again, and then just raise your standards. Just continue to raise your standards as time goes on.
You know what I love about you is that I see how you keep raising the numbers, raising your expectations of yourself. And,
right.
And I know it becomes scary at times, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little nervous about month 3. I'm not going to lie. Like I'm nervous. Like, I'm like, all right, like I've already done, I'm pretty sure I got 2 wrapped up. Like, and we're only halfway through April. I'm nervous. I'm like, dang, like I've already come this far. Like it's nerve wracking, but I'm like, now I'm like, well, what else am I going to do? Like I gotta go for it, right? And at the end of next month, I'm either gonna hit it or I'm not, you know.
Hey, but you know, it goes back to my little mantra. I said to myself, aim high, reach for the sky, aim low, nowhere to go. I swear I did that forever. I still do it now. So It's great that you're aiming high and you're going. And when I was watching that video, your numbers raised. And so that's what took that leap. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've just been massive activity. There's nothing special about it. Like I look at other people's numbers on the leaderboards and they make me sick because I'm like, they run 23 appointments and write 15 grand. And I'm like, I'm running 40 and writing 8. Like, come on, man. Like, but like, I just know what I'm capable of is work ethic, right? Like, I'm not like, I know if I can get somebody, I got some skill. I'm not terrible. Don't get me wrong. But like, I know that I can outwork most of it. And that's my claim.
Well, here's the thing I would say, the more activity, the luckier you get.
That's true. That's true. I'm telling you what, I got about $1 million of annuities I found in the last week and a half. I got a couple, probably $15,000 in IULs I'm working on. Like you might not see the submitted production yet, but it's coming. Like it's on the way. It's in the pipeline.
And you know what I always feel is like what you do today, whether you're recruiting or you're in production and you're building, you'll see the results in 90 days from those. You're not going to see them right now on that.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, it'll come.
I'm so glad you were able to get on and share. And you know what? It was so funny because I was talking to you and Belle and Justin today, and Belle sends me a text and says, I'm writing an application. I'll be on in a few minutes. I said, she's relentless, right?
I love that. I love that.
So what I want to do is I want to thank you so much for sharing with everyone here, because look, you've got that burning desire, and that's really what it takes. And being relentless about it when everybody else stops, like I was talking like, oh, I had enough. I never like to end my day on a negative note. I'll keep going, and you will too. I can tell.
Absolutely. Got to get it done. Thanks for having me, Diane.
Thanks. Let's bring up Belle. Belle, are you here? Did you finish your application?
I am here, Diane. I've literally just, let me bring up my camera, just finished walking her through the signing process. So I'm trying to listen in because I get so fired up, and then I'm trying to just stay relaxed and calm on the phone, talking her through how to turn off her pop-up blockers so she can, review documents and sign. I tell you, I'm just so fired up that we have the opportunity to still help people like this. It's been an interesting shift, but I think it's been a huge opportunity to serve the people who are really needing this right now. And this environment, I think, is just really brought it to the forefront of people's mind. And so it has opened up a world of opportunity for us. The silver lining. It is the silver lining of what's going on in our world today. So I'm fired up about it.
And Belle, you are a warrior. You are relentless. We were talking we talk a lot, and her and Jake are in Washington, and she just has that I'm going to get there. She's got that burn. And that's what I was really wanting to get across to everybody today, because that's really the first step toward riches. You've got to have that burning desire.
You really, it's how can we make it work? We started out with a certain methodology and a certain set of tools, and then our methodology had to shift, and our tool bag shifted a little bit too. We don't have access to everything, and that's okay. As long as your mentality is, what can I accomplish with what I have? And I don't know if that, growing up with a restricted resources, we'll say, going through the military where you had to improvise. Believe it or not, there's a lot of improvisation in bomb disposal. And the figure of speech is a suitable substitute. And how do you know if it was a suitable substitute? It worked. If it worked, it was suitable. If it didn't work, it wasn't suitable. Move on and find something suitable. And so when this whole lockdown scenario started happening, it was like, we have to find what's the suitable substitute. What's the path forward? It does no good to sit there and say what we can't do. We've got to look at what we can do and then use it, wear it out. Whatever we've got, use it up, wear it out until we get past this. And so, for me, it took a shift. I went through back in early March, mid-March, because the lockdowns started happening sooner here outside the Seattle area than most places across the country, because we had the first several cases out here. And so things were locking down faster. And that first transition week, people weren't letting me in. And I told Andy, I was like, I'm putting a camp chair in my car. And then if they won't let me in, I'll talk to them through the door, and that was the second week of March. And by the third week of March, no one would even schedule with me. And that week, it was tough to learn a new skill. I ran something like 28 appointments and I closed 3. Phone appointments, mind you. Closed 3 out of 28. Very humbling experience. But I helped those 3 people. And I thought, if I can help 3, I can help 30. And so that's when I decided my new goal, instead of having a dial goal or an appointment goal, because setting these phone appointments, I got a higher no-show rate. I had a really low no-show rate for in-home appointments. I could tie it down very well. These phone appointments, though, I had a higher no-show rate. So I went from setting a dial goal or an appointment goal to a sits goal. And I love the coin. I love the coin. Let me grab mine because I always keep it within hand's reach. Clear, simple goals. That's what we have, right? Simple, clear goals. So my simple, clear goal every day, I want to sit 6 appointments today. And when I get up tomorrow, I want to sit 6 appointments tomorrow. And it doesn't matter what else is on the calendar. We had our coaching corner this morning. We had the Lampe webinar this morning. We have this training right now. I've already sat 1, 2, 3 appointments this morning, and I've closed 2. All right. So I've sat 3. I'm halfway towards my goal, which is great because I'm halfway through the day. And so I have the rest of the day to finish my goal. So if I could chunk it down into something that I don't have to worry about tomorrow, I don't have to worry about yesterday. I got to focus on today. I need to sit 6 appointments a day. And guess what's going to happen, Diane? When I start consistently sitting 6 appointments a day, I'm going to have to increase my goal because I've set the bar too low. So if I can consistently do it, it's no longer a goal, it's a routine. And I have to increase my routine to get better. So I can't help but do this. And I keep thinking, we're just at it. I don't want to make light of what's going on in our country. I don't want to make light of the people that are sick and the people that are dying and the people that are struggling with their health. I don't want to make light of that. But the silver lining is we've got a whole group of people that are now thinking about their mortality. And let's face it, none of us believe we're immortal. Not a single one of them thought they were going to live forever, but all of a sudden it's on their mind. We have a limited window to get to as many as possible before they forget the urgency, before they forget. So when I get up, it's like, I got to go, because tomorrow people may forget their urgency. Their odds of survival have not changed. It's been the same the whole time, but what they'll lose is their urgency. And I got to have double the urgency while they've got urgency so I can get to all of them. That's my goal. I got to get to all of them. And if I can't get to all of them, I got to hire people to help me get to all of them because we got to get to them. And you know what really brought that home for me is yesterday, reaching out to current clients, got one that he had scheduled with me to talk yesterday morning. And I thought he's going to look at increasing his coverage. And it turns out he wanted to make a claim on his living benefits. I wrote this man 3 years ago. It was right after conference. It was my first conference. And I remember at that conference, Jake and I had thought about, can we do this? Is this something really that we could just get after? Because we were wavering on that. We didn't know. And that first week after conference, I wrote like 17 grand that first week. And that was more than I'd written in any month prior to that. And this man was part of that group. And he called yesterday and he's been given 18 months to live. He has very advanced prostate and bone cancer, and 18 months. And so this was a man when I met with already had $4 million in life insurance when I met with him. Already had $4 million. But we talked about those living benefits, and we did the spin down on what that $4 million really looks like, because it sounds like a lot of money until you pay for 4 college educations, pay off a house, pay for time for your wife to get back into the workforce. It goes fast. Yes. And so we got that policy in place and we started the claims process yesterday. And he's going to get, somewhere around $150,000 up front on those living benefits. So that just drives home to me the urgency. Had I quit back then when we were at conference and we were struggling with the idea, can I do this? That was a selfish idea. It's not can I do it, it's will I do it? People need us to do it. And I can't be selfish. I can't think about me and say, well, it might be uncomfortable, or I might not be good at it, or it might not be what I thought it was. I can't be selfish like that. I have to think of them. And so I have that burning need every day to just get up and help 6 more families. They might tell me no. But it may be them 3 years from now calling to make a claim too. So.
Hey, Belle, I was thinking about your numbers because they went up dramatically.
Yes.
And it was because, what do I want? How do I get it? Burning desire. And then you just upped your numbers as well because you're like, oh, well, why not? Right?
Why not? And our timeline's condensed.
Right?
Absolutely. Our timeline is condensed. So what we could do before, we can do double now. You think about it, a no sale, instead of taking an hour and a half because you had to drive there a half hour, and then you spend a half hour, 45 minutes with the family, and then you have to drive away a half hour. A no sale right now, it takes me 30 minutes. And then on to the next. So I can get through the no sales so much faster, which leads me to the next person that I can help. And so, when you sitting 6 appointments doesn't take that long. Now, the number of dials it takes to get my 6, if you want to have a second here, Diane, I don't know if you want me to get in this, but I can just tell you what last week looked like real quick.
I think everybody would love to hear that, because they're probably thinking, oh, this is so daunting. How does she do it?
Right. So if you think about the overall, like last week as a total, I did 457 dials total, but I did 83 of those dials on Monday, because it took me 83 dials to be able to sit. And I actually only sat 5 appointments, because then I ran into our hotspot time and I couldn't fit that in. I missed my goal. But on Tuesday, it only took 34 dials. And I sat 6 appointments. And so I didn't have to dial as much, because I got a hold of somebody who was willing to have the conversation, and we just rolled right into it. The same thing on Wednesday. It only took 33 dials to hit my 6 appointments. And then came Thursday. Thursday took me 161 dials to get through to my goal. And so it's going to look vastly different than what our mapped out methods were before. I didn't sit down and dial 457 dials in a day like I very well would do before. Now it's chunked down, and it's going to vary. I may make 15 dials before I run into my first appointment, right? Or I could make 50 dials but the key is you keep going until you hit an appointment, and then you slow down and you run it. And then you just move on to the next. You got to keep that focus, because when you know what you're after, nothing can stop you. When you know what the finish line is, you're not going to get deterred by what happened 10 minutes ago or 10 days ago, or what could happen 10 minutes from now or an hour from now. I was running that appointment right up until I knew this webinar was coming, but I was helping somebody. And so I can't be deterred. I have to love them while I'm with, finish it out, and then get on and handle the next thing. And that's the way it works, because we're a team.
And you know what I love about what you said, and I hope everybody gets it today. It's like, it's whatever it takes. Because when you have a burning desire, you will do whatever it takes to make it happen. So if it takes more dials, you're going to go. Or if it, or talking to more people. The same thing with building. It's the same thing. It's how it works. It's all hand in hand. So thank you. I know it was tough. You were doing all that stuff, but it's because of the burning desire. It goes back to that. Thank you so much. You're the contrarian. You're zagging when everybody else is zigging. That's all I'm saying, right? That's how I'm taking it.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, Diane. My goal, truly, honestly, I want to beat Paul. Come on, Paul. I just need to beat you. Let's just be clear on that. I know it's hard, but that's what makes it satisfying. If it were easy, it's like, wouldn't be any good, wouldn't feel good about it. I know it's going to be hard. So I can't wait to do it. All right. Thanks for having me.
My goodness. Oh gosh. Thank you so much. And then I want to bring up one more person. I love Justin Balick and Sydney. And I was thinking about him the other day, and I texted him last night. You know what? If I was thinking of somebody that had a burning desire, I think about Justin. I think about Justin and Sydney out there making it happen and doing stuff. And then I texted him, I don't know what time last night. What was it? I don't know.
11, something like that.
So it's like, and here he is. I know that when we first talked, my time was not exactly, I was thinking of the Eastern, I don't know what it was, but I'm glad it worked out, because if I think of relentless, I think of somebody that is a dreamer with a burning desire. I think of you.
Well, I appreciate that. We're just trying to figure this thing out. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny. Like, I don't think it was so much the coronavirus that started this whole thing. It was really Paul running these 40 appointments, committing to running these 40 appointments a week. And at first I was like, whatever. And he would call me every morning at 7:30. Hey, what you doing? Hey, what you doing? Hey, I'm running 40 appointments. Hey, what are you doing? And that was like starting in the back of my mind, a little mind ninja. So that was working. And then 4 weeks ago on a Sunday, I woke up and I was talking to Sydney, and we're getting married in November. And she just looked stressed, not about like nervous for the wedding, but the fact that we're paying for everything. So, and I think Michelle said it on the AM chat earlier, weddings ain't cheap. They ain't. So I saw that look on her face and I was like, I never want to see that ever again. And that was the tipping point for me to say, I'm going to start running 40 appointments a week. And that's it. And that Sunday I got on the phone and I booked my 20 appointments for Monday and Tuesday, made calls Wednesday and Thursday night for Friday and Saturday, another 20 appointments. And I've done that every week since. So we all struggle with different things, Diane. And what's cool is that me doing that fired Sydney up because she saw me say it and then she saw me do it. And she determined that not only was she going to recruit a crap load of people, but she was going to challenge Jason Mathis that she could recruit more people than him and whip his butt. And I don't want to say the numbers because he might be listening in, but I have a feeling that we're whipping his butt. So we got the selling side and the recruiting side going. She's been going crazy. She's recruited more people in the last 3.5 weeks than I have in that time period in 7 years. So it's and we've hit regional manager, so it's not a small thing to say that she's been crushing it. And then the other thing is, Diane, is when I said, okay, I'm going to do 40 appointments a week, and my goal is 30,000 submit a week. That's my goal. If I'm running 40 appointments a week, I want to submit 30,000 a week. That's my thought. And the first full 4 weeks of running 40 appointments a week. So it was 100. Hold on a second. I wrote this down. 160 appointments, 4 weeks times 40 appointments, right? I sat with 35 people, most were over the phone, some were in person, but sat with 35 out of 160. So that means 125 people no-showed me. Okay? But in a 4-week period. So, but from that, I wrote 42 apps for 62,000. So if we go by the metric of 30,000 a week, that means I want to submit 120,000 a month. So I sat with 20% of the people and I hit half of my goal. So I'm thinking if I get my show rate better, then I might hit my 30,000 a week and submit. So exactly. I'm doing that, and she's recruiting double digits every month. I think it's going to be a little cray-cray. And we actually have a full house. I was going to pick this up, but I don't know if FBI or CIA is watching or listening in, but I was going to pick this up and walk around my office. We got 10 people down. It's like boiler room in here. It's cray-cray. But it's good. It's good stuff. The irony is we have people in here more often than we did before Corona. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Like Belle said, like we don't want to wish ill on anybody, but this has been good for business. For real.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys so much because, I was thinking about when I was talking about the burning desire, I think a lot of people just miss that part. It's the burn. Andy's got that burn.
Yes. 100%.
Right. And I listen to him and I know we all do. And it's like, okay, I got to push a little bit more. I got to drive a little bit more because I'm not doing something because I'm not doing I got to move that up. I got to ramp up. And I 100%. Think and Justin, this is the time if people are going to ramp up, this is the time to do it.
Absolutely. Here's what's crazy, Diane, is there are going to be people, like I'm already seeing it, there are going to be people that create habits doing this during this whole craziness that they never would have created had this not happened. And if they simply maintain those habits going into this getting out of here, the company is going to explode.
I agree. I agree. I think everybody is looking at what can I do differently? What can I do better? And asking better questions so they can move faster instead of sitting there. Because, and there's a lot of people, Justin, you know, that do this part-time as a side hustle. And now they're seeing, oh, what if I didn't have that side hustle?
Exactly.
Where would they be right now?
Jobless. No money.
No money. And they'd be thinking, you know, so that's why, you know, we have an opportunity right now to be the contrarians. That's how I say it. That's what we are.
100.
And I remember back in, it was 2008, and it was crazy like that. That year I made like $1.6 million. And how do you, it's by doing this, having that burning desire and not stopping. And I don't even have the news on. I really honestly don't. People tell me all about it. I'm just on the phone trying to help people like you are.
Same.
Difference. That's all I'm thinking about. And this is what the burning desire takes. So I really want to thank you for being on here today. I'm hoping that today somebody watched this and said, oh my gosh, I want to do what Justin's doing. I want to do what Belle's doing. I want to do what Paul's doing. I want to have that. I want to have what they have. I want to do that. Or I don't know what it is, but hopefully we got somebody off the couch.
100.
Making some calls today.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you for coming on with me today, and let's just go. Let's just make the next 90 days the best 90 days we've ever had, ever.
I agree. Thank you for having me on. It was an honor for you to ask. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Let's go do it. Bye.
Bye.